most hype fights of our time is upon us, and it involves a pretty awesome boxer that I like a lot, aside from, you know, I don't like to do too much research on him, but I do like Mike Tyson.
Let's have another look at this now.
Well, it was a beautiful punch, bang on the chin. Now you can see the way he goes down, first of all, loses all control. Then you can see the actual time he took to get back up onto his feet again.
And another boxer who not that many people like, Jake Paul, Logan Paul's brother. Of these two men, one of them is a behemoth, and the people that hear his name tremble in their boots before him, and the other is Mike Tyson.
Punk ass white boy, come here and tell me that if I you in your ass, you punk white boy.
Just kidding, but Jake looks like he looks thicker than a Snicker, dude. He's chungus right now. It's crazy. Look at his body. Holy shit. He's got to weigh like 7 stones, all right? That guy's probably, what, 9 cubits in a span? What the f? He's big as hell. This guy's biblical. Part of living in the internet age is just having your information out there and having people be able to look at it. And that's why I have accepted Aura as the sponsor of today's video. It can be quite scary to hear your home address read back over to you when playing an awesome VoIP game. Even some of your health records are out there for anyone to see. People can just find out where you live. It's terrible. Aura helps prevent that and helps mitigate negative shit that can happen to you. Data brokers are always selling your information. You guys know what the f Aura is. It's awesome. It's cool. They've been a long time sponsor of the channel. They will tell data brokers to shut the f up and stop selling your data. Plus there was the massive AT&T leak. I mean, it's just terrible. It's a terrible time for security, network security. I protect myself with Aura, and they have been a long-time sponsor of the channel. Go to aura.com/Oompa to start a 2-week free trial to protect yourself. Go see what kind of data is out there on you, because it's gonna blow your mind. Thank you to Aura for sponsoring this video. This fight has been hyped for a long time. Made one video on it a couple months ago, and now it's been postponed. And I'm actually kind of worried about this fight. I feel like someone is going to die.
Michael Tyson just absolutely attacked him. Watch this.
It's been hyped up so much, and for a while now, there's been a lot of issues. I genuinely feel like someone is going to die in the arena. It's an old man Jake Paul's fighting, and it's Mike Tyson also, so he might die. Jake Paul might, because it's Mike Tyson, and his footage sparring when he's like 300 years old looks like this. What the f? That's scary. And he knocks people into different dimensions as well, and he has a long history of doing so.
Now let's take a look at the knockdown. You know, we talk about finishers, and I've always said you were a great finisher. Well, here's a guy who doesn't have to take a back seat.
Well, he levels his punches. I mean, he gets so much leverage behind each punch.
It's been delayed now until November, which is cool because it's another few months more of a relevancy that Jake Paul has to deal with, because this is going to be one of the biggest fights ever, I think. It's going to be on Netflix. There's a lot of people who have Netflix subscriptions. Look at how many people have Netflix subscriptions. That's crazy. And just the sheer fact that influencer fights have gotten to this point is insane. I mean, I can't believe it. I've been a fight fan since I was a child. I love the UFC and boxing, especially. Mainly the UFC though. And seeing how much stuff has changed and seeing like the first couple influencer fights when I was myself an influencer YouTuber guy playing Feed and Grow Fish, I was like, all right, this is pretty crazy. It's wild. These guys are getting after a little bit. And it's kind of second rate to the real world of boxing. This is probably going to be the biggest boxing event in terms of viewership ever, I would assume, on Netflix. I don't know. This is groundbreaking, though. It's certainly the biggest boxing event for a while. Boxing sucks, though. Boxing has fallen off. Not really. I love boxing still, but it's just been kind of boring. I don't know. It's been hard to watch lately. Also, my brain's rotten from TikTok, too, as well. So that's probably another thing. There's been a few fights now that you could possibly see having a legitimizing effect on influencers that have partaken. You know, Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather. Just kidding. That shit was whack as This one is going to be really tough. Even though it's an old man fighting a young man, it's going to be really scary. It's going to be a legitimate fight, and there's going to be a legitimate result. In spite of all the crazy-ass rules, I've heard that Jake gets to wear headgear. I've heard that Mike doesn't get paid if he hits Jake or something. Like, I've heard a bunch of joke things. There's a bunch of funny memes going around. This has to be the biggest, if not one of the biggest influencer boxing events of all time. And then either Jake or Logan will probably end up fighting Conor McGregor in MMA eventually. It's going to be awesome, dude. It's so cool. What a great world we live in. Anyways, let's talk about Jake Paul for a minute. He's become a very accomplished fighter over the last couple of years. His current record, 9 wins, 1 loss, super accomplished. All right, guys, look at all these big names he's fought. There's Tommy Fury. I think that guy's Tyson Fury's uncle or something. I forget. I don't really know. He's a real fighter. His only loss was to a real fighter.
To the winner by split decision,
Tommy Fury.
And also not even like that good of a real fighter. Tommy Fury doesn't have that great of a record comparatively speaking to other big time boxers. He hasn't really fought like a lot of massive people. Anyways, and it was also a split decision loss. I don't fucking know. It's not that impressive. It's impressive for an influencer, but it's not, I don't know. Am I supposed to be bowing down? I have no idea. Tommy's record is nothing to write home about. It's 10-0. 0 wins, 10 losses. That's pretty embarrassing. I'm just kidding. It's 10 wins, but people do say that he hasn't fought legitimate boxers. Like a lot of legitimate boxers, he's not that proven in the world yet. He's more proven than Jake Paul, certainly, but still, you know, I'm just trying to start fires, basically. Anyways, Jacob Paul went from a Vine star to a YouTuber who terrorizes his neighbors.
Neighbor from hell? Disney Channel star Jake Paul is accused of making life miserable for his neighbors in fancy West Hollywood.
To now a prolific boxer. What a character arc. Comment down below what you've gone from. I went from homeschooled farrier to network security technician to gaming YouTuber to reaction YouTuber who talks way too much to Candyman. Little Candyman action in there. Every Friday, 3 Central Standard, baby. Sour.gg, new flavor. All right. Every Friday, new flavor. Yes, sir! His nickname is Jake the Problem Child. He's got his own Netflix documentary and he's the problem child and stuff. So he's a piece of shit and he kind of leans into it. Mike Tyson, on the other hand, someone who really doesn't need that much of an introduction. He's a bad. So I guess here we go. Anyways, if there's a pantheon of greatest fighters that are alive today and greatest fighters who have ever lived, Mike Tyson would absolutely stand among them.
Fighter cannot be saved by the bell as the big right hand lands. Tyson knows he's got him in big trouble. If he doesn't answer it, Richard Steele has moved in.
He's got 50 wins under his belt in the heavyweight class of boxing during the 80s and 90s, which is wild. 44 of those wins are just disgusting knockouts that are just disrespectful and nasty. This is nasty. God, so scary. So scary, dude. Big people, little people, medium people. He just goes like this. He puts his arms out and rotates his body and then goes like that. And then they go, it makes contact and then they go, and their soul goes, NDE, near-death experience. Crazy.
Anywhere else, he's in danger. Oh, there it is, right hand.
Mike's also been in some films as well. He rode the success of his fighting career to the movie industry. Ever seen Hangover? Okay. He was also the lead in a very poorly received action film known as Pharaoh's War.
There are victors and losers.
Keep the faith.
Killers and casualties.
So good. Such a great movie. One of my favorites. Poorly received by the public, warmly received by Oompaville. Perhaps my favorite of his on-screen appearances, though, is his 3-minute fight scene in Ip Man, which is one of my favorite movies, actually non-ironically. Not the third one, to be fair, but the first one. Insane. Those movies are incredible. Look at this acting. Oh my God. Watch him get kicked in the chest and then stare at the camera. Genius. He nods his head. Yeah, that's a good hit. He says that. I don't know. I don't do a very good Mike Tyson impression. Kind of came out there at the end. Whoops. So yeah, clearly out of his element a bit, but I'd say he deserves a Grammy or an Oscar or whatever the those people get after seeing this fight scene between him and Steven Seagal in a movie called China Salesman. Great name, by the way. Love that name, dude. China Salesman. Thank you. Very clever. After getting upset when someone at a bar offers him a drink, Mike turns to the big screen.
I must say, I appreciate the offer, my friend, but a rule's a rule. I do not drink.
This is such a good clip. He gets upset. Steven Seagal, I love Steven Seagal. He deserves his own video. Steven Seagal is an absolute legend of just cringe. I want to see Jake Paul fight Steven Seagal. I would be rooting for Jake Paul all day long. Holy shit. His Aikido. Steven Seagal is an enigma. All right, dude. He's also like the king of Russia or something like that. They keep knighting him and giving him lord titles. It's really weird. In recent years, as Mike has gotten older, he's turned to the big screen more so than boxing. You see, he hasn't boxed much. He boxed at Roy Jones Jr. Yeah, that was awesome. I love Roy Jones Jr. Holy shit. Probably my favorite boxer, actually, just because he dances and stuff. He dances around and he looks cool, and I'm like, wow.
Shit, in and out. 12 ounces. Not the normal 10. Two of my uncles fighting at the barbecue.
Go, Roy! Go! From your biggest white boy fan! According to his box rec page, Mike Tyson's last fight was June of 2005. Wow, that's cringe. The Roy Jones Jr. one was an exhibition, so it wasn't an official professional fight. That was almost 200 years ago, okay? And it was against a guy named Kevin McBride, which ended with Mike Tyson on his butt. I know he wasn't doing well at the time. I believe he was addicted to various things, and he was at he's had a lot of low points in his life. I recommend doing some research on the life of Mike Tyson. It's quite interesting. He's quite a fascinating character. Just don't look at what happened in the early 90s if you really want to like him a lot. But at the same time, it's important to understand all the context of a situation to be able to make a decision. So, just makes decisions hard. He's a rapist and he doesn't have that much respect for women, which is big L, TBH. He just doesn't seem to like them. He wants to breed them and impregnate them. 2005, that is quite a long time ago. We're in 2024. For a reference of how long ago that was, in 2005, North Korea announced for the first time that they had nuclear weapons. That seems like it's been just North Korea forever. But no, it's since I was 10 years old. 2005, specifically August 29th, 2005, was the year that Hurricane Katrina, and the day that Hurricane Katrina came rolling through and was a massive tragedy in the southern United States. I remember it very clearly because I was a child and that's my birthday.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
And the year that Michael Jackson was acquitted of molesting a 13-year-old child. So pretty big W's for 2005. And August 29th as well. I added a little side fact in there, a little tangential side fact. Press like for tangential side facts. And since that time, since 05, his last fight, Mike has added 52 acting credits to his IMDb page. That is crazy. That's like one every 4 years. And now Mike is coming out of retirement, I think, to enter the ring with a young fighter who is seemingly in the tip-top shape of his prime. And it's gonna be live streamed on Netflix. The first time Netflix has ever done anything like this. I think it's genius, and I think it's gonna be huge from now on. I think this is the way things are gonna go. Netflix, this is how Netflix gets back on top, baby. Still on top, and was on top, has been for a long time. They make a lot of really shit shows, but the live streaming, that's how you get on top, baby girl. This is interesting to me because it seems like it came out of nowhere, the whole live streaming on Netflix thing, but there was actually signs of it. Back in November of 2023, the Wall Street Journal wrote an article about Netflix considering streaming a boxing match involving Logan Paul. So it didn't come out of nowhere. I just don't pay attention, especially to the Wall Street Journal. Ever since they with my homie PewDiePie, I think that was them, wasn't it? I forget. I haven't kept up on that beef. Anyways, back to the video. In March 2024, the year of our Lord, it was confirmed that the fight would be against Mike Tyson. That is the Netflix live stream Jake Paul bout against Mike Tyson. They tweeted a teaser video announcing the fight for July 20th, a whole month from now. When the fight was first announced, it was received with everyone thinking Jake was going to get pummeled because it's Mike Tyson. But he's old. He's an old man. One guy tweeted and said boldly what we all believe, and that is Jake might be a good boxer and Mike Tyson might no longer be in his prime. But if Mike loses or it's a tie, then the fight's fake as and it's all about money, which is probably the case because it's really easy to fake shit in boxing. One person even said that if Mike was 90, Jake wouldn't be able to beat him. I think he's referring to Jake, not himself. No, actually, I think he's referring to himself, not Jake. Yeah, I think 90-year-old Mike Tyson would beat my ass. No joke. I think he'd have to be in a coma. He'd have to be in a vegetative state for me to beat him in a fist fight. He would literally be laying there and I'd just be like, you know? So tough. And he'd like throw his hands up and I'd sneak in his guard. But if he can turn those hips though, it's over for me. If it's over for me. As long as he can turn those hips, it's over for me, dude. Over for me. And I'm man enough to admit it. People pretty much resoundingly believe that Jake Paul is going to get mauled and there's no way that Mike Tyson loses. I feel like that's accurate. That's got to be accurate, dude. I don't want Jake Paul to win. I want Mike Tyson to win for sure. Please, Mike Tyson, come on. Don't die on us, old man. Come on. So with this begins the psyops, right? Psyops always begin when marketing any kind of event, especially a fight, or a fight, rather, if you speak English. I don't speak English sometimes. Videos of the two of these men training would be circulated on Twitter, and Jake's training looked fairly tame. He's just like, you know, just kind of problem childing it up, and then Mike is like, like a animal, dude. It's awesome. Ruthless old man. So yeah, comment down below. Mike is way older, twice the age of Jake. Jake is basically in his prime. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Mike is at a disadvantage, but at the same time, my gut instinct is like, oh, there's no way. There's no way. There's no chance that Jake Paul beats Mike Tyson. Jake Paul cannot beat Mike Tyson. But yeah, Jake's not even really close to 30 years old. I think he's younger than me. I don't even give a fuck. I'm not gonna look it up. I'm not gonna research it. I don't care. But around 30 is when your body starts to lose lean tissue, or it starts to be more difficult to hold on to lean muscle tissue as your hormones and your endocrine system slowly gear up for death. All right, guys. Atrophy and death. Plus, the rough athletic lifestyle ages you progressively. It ages you more so. And the lifestyle that Mike Tyson has lived, you know, going to prison and being, you know, an addict at many points of his life and being really angry. Probably not a great lifestyle for the average person. Now he's on shrooms all the time, which is probably helping him. Maybe, I don't know. Seems like it is. Seems like he's mellowed out a little bit. For a little extra perspective, Mike Tyson was 30 years old when Jake Paul was born, which is crazy. So when Jake Paul was born, he was at a tipping point, essentially, in terms of physical gifts and athleticism. Not technical ability, not skills or anything like that, but like your just physical body. Physiologically, the average person starts to slope downtrend at around 30. Doesn't seem the case with like heavyweight UFC fighters and MMA guys. Seems like they peak in their 30s, except for John Jones. But yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. Mike Tyson was doing this while Jake Paul still had a soft spot on his head that you could press to turn him off, to deactivate him. A lot of people talking about this. Former UFC fighter Chael Sonnen has been critical of Jake for accepting the fight against someone so much older than him. He's uploaded a bunch of videos. By the way, Chael Sonnen is awesome. He's so funny and crazy. He's uploaded several videos in the time since the fight's announcement, and he's denounced it each time. He's fighting an old geriatric man. When Chael first got the news, he said that that Jake would win, and he called Jake the real deal.
Jake will beat him, but yeah, Mike could go with him.
You think Jake's gonna beat Mike Tyson, Chael?
Hey, Jake's the real deal. I mean, you know,
Chael, Mike Tyson.
He's
60 years old. Mike Tyson could be 188 years old, okay? Like Rocky Marciano and Coming to America. He's gonna be, look at him now.
And that said, he also compares this matchup to another one with a significant age gap that was allegedly labeled elder abuse.
Vitor, who had never done it, put him away so fast that it ended Vitor's career. They would not book him again. They labeled him like an elderly abuser. How dare you? How could you do this? Vitor never got another fight. Vitor's training. He's right in Florida.
Perspective.
He couldn't get it. So that's just the thing that you deal with in fighting, that Jake Paul will be up against.
He then said that Jake would get teased for accepting the fight. Doesn't seem like it's the case, though. Seems like people think Jake Paul's gonna lose because it's an old man he's fighting.
He'll get teased for taking this fight, for one. He'll get teased for that. He'll work himself through that. But yeah, if he goes out there and cleans his clock, they're gonna come down on him.
And to be clear, just because Chael thinks Jake is gonna win doesn't necessarily mean he's on his side, for sure. He doesn't seem like he takes many sides, except for Chael's side. All right, he grew up middle class. Guy's a legend, okay? He's had a tough life. Plus, the way that Chael has titled his videos, it makes it very clear that he finds what Jake is doing to be unethical. 27-year-old versus senior citizen.
What sponsor do you think wants to be on a 27-year-old kicking the hell out of a senior citizen? I mean, when you're gonna tell me something stupid like that, follow it up. If you're gonna tell me the aliens are underground, you gotta tell me who takes out the garbage. Is his name Charlie? Is it Bill? Do you know him? Have you applied for the job? Was there an opening and you missed it?
Jake Paul has no way to win, because if he loses to a 60-year-old, he's humiliated. And if he wins, then it's lame, because he beats a 60-year-old man.
It has been stated that Jake Paul has no way to win. That if he loses to a 60-year-old, the gig is up. And if he beats a 60-year-old, it's not like that draws him right into Canelo. It's going to upset people because Mike Tyson is revered. I mean, these things are stated, right? We won't know the future till we get there.
I get it. I understand it. It makes total sense. It makes total sense, but I still am not convinced that Jake Paul's gonna win. I don't think he's gonna win, man. I don't think he's gonna win. I think Mike Tyson's gonna come out there and he's gonna knock him right out. Jake can't even win against Tommy Fury. I feel like Mike Tyson could beat Tommy Fury. I don't know. I tell you what, they both could beat my ass, and that's what I'm 100% sure about. Additionally, on June 6th, Chael uploaded a video basically saying that the fight shouldn't be rescheduled because of the compounding issues with Mike Tyson's health, saying that if you had a magic wand and could go back in time, you'd still have the issue of age, but not the medical emergency that was deemed so severe that they had to cancel the fight.
Like if you had a magic wand, and they could wait a minute, and you do the fight before the airplane incident. Now, of course, teleportation hasn't been invented, right, Aziz? Like we know that you can't actually with the magic wand, you can't do that. But if you did, you would still have the problem of the age, but you wouldn't have an additional problem of the medical emergency, which at this point has been deemed so severe that it canceled a fight.
So he's saying that the fight is going to be postponed now. Mike Tyson will be older, and he has a health issue. He's got a health problem, a severe health problem. He's got stomach ulcers. We'll be talking about this in a moment. He's right. Mike Tyson will just be older and will have to deal with health issues that were so severe that they had to reschedule this massive event. We'll get into the medical emergency and the postponing of the fight here in a second, but all of this is just more evidence of Jake getting heat from people who think Mike's gonna win and people who think Jake's gonna win because Mike's an old man. So there's two sides to it. Both are losses for Jake, it seems like. Obviously, except for the money. Not the money, though, because they're both going to make a shit ton of money, and Jake will make a lot. He won't need to work anymore. This is all he's got to do from now on. So to me, it seems like Chael, at least, is certain that Jake will win, but he's not happy about it. He's grumpy about it, okay? Because it's a result of Jake accepting a fight that is someone over double his age. Beating up an old man. What do you guys think down below? The age gap definitely added to the shock factor and the wow value when the fight was officially announced as a sanctioned professional fight that will count on both of their official records. That's wild. This seems like an exhibition, but no, it's a sanctioned professional fight between an old man and Jake Paul. But that old man happens to be Mike Tyson. So. This whole age gap thing isn't exactly new for Jake. He has had a significant amount of fights from men who are much older than him. He likes older men. You know, you can't hate him for that. It's fine. His most recent fight against a guy named Ryan Borland was criticized because Ryan was 8 years older. He's 35 years old, and he's been retired from boxing for a while, and he worked in the oil industry. So it's what's called a tune-up fight.
Borland is originally from the Bay Area of California, but decided to come out to North Dakota 5 years ago to work in the oil industry.
It was pretty tough, but I was kind of ready for it, you know, ready to do something different.
And Andre August, Jake's opponent before Ryan, was also 35, and then Nate Diaz, MMA fighter, was before Andre. He's 39 years old. And before that was Tommy Fury, who's 25 years old, and it's the only fight that Jake has lost. And before Tommy Fury was Anderson Silva, a 50-year-old washed-up UFC fighter. Then Tyron Woodley, a 42-year-old washed-up UFC fighter. Then Ben Askren, permanently washed up 39-year-old excellent wrestler, but UFC fighter, I guess. Boxer, I'm not sure. Then before that guy, Nate Robinson, 40 years old. So a bunch of old dudes, bunch of old 40-year-old guys, bunch of old guys who aren't boxers. So the only one is the only guy he's lost to. Hilarious. So I think that he will lose against Mike Tyson. Just saying. Jake's first fight, though, against Aliassim Gibb. Gibb. I forget what the fuck his name is. I don't know where he's even from. Gibb, some guy named Gibb, okay? Not Gibby from iCarly, but just some Ali Gibb. What the? Who cares? Same age, though, as Jake. I remember watching that one. I was like walking around having a panic attack, just watching it. Fights always give me panic attacks. I don't know why. I get really excited and into them. I'm like, you know. Jake won that fight, though, obviously. This all takes a bit more of a sad and ironic turn when we go back to December of 2020 when Jake posted to Twitter antagonizing Conor McGregor for a fight, saying that Conor was the one who beat up old dudes.
Good morning, Conor McGregor. I know you're probably beating up old dudes in a bar right now, or maybe you're jacking off because you're sick of fucking your wife. I mean, she's a 4, Conor. You could do a lot better, but happy Monday. My team sent you a $50 million offer this morning. $50 million cash, proof of funds, the biggest fight offer you've ever been offered, but you're scared to fight me, Conor.
Right. Yeah. It's actually not Connor. It's actually you, Jake. With every fight, there needs to be a solid amount of promo to get people attracted like moths to a flame. You got to drum up hype. You got to get some attention. They've held a few press conferences for the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, and each one got really wild, and Mike said some crazy shit, and it's just so cringe, and I hate it. Press conferences. They're fun, but I hate them too. The first press conference, pretty tame. There's a moment where Drake, I got Hey There Delilah on my mind. Wagwan Delilah.
Wagwan Delilah, no, I'm late cause there's bad traffic.
Wagwan Delilah. I cannot stand that song. In the presser, Jake addressed the criticism that if he wins, it's rigged by acknowledging Mike's impact on the industry and the fact that he's an absolute monster.
A lot of people are doubting me. You know, I go onto the Instagram comments and I see them all saying, if Jake wins this fight, it's rigged because of how incredible he looks. Age doesn't matter. Age is just a number. He's a killer. He's a warrior. He's been doing this his whole entire life. So it's second nature to him. I've been doing this for 4 years, and I've been doing it at a super high level. But on July 20th, I'm going to show the world that I can outbox Mike Tyson.
And Mike answers the question about how chill he's feeling, saying that he's pretty chill.
Mike, I wanted to ask you about something Jake tweeted earlier today. He said, last time I saw Mike was 2 months ago. He was chill. Rumor is he's not so chill now. No weed, eating raw meat. Let's see today. Is that an accurate assessment of where you're at? Are you not so chill?
I'm pretty chill right now.
Yeah, you seem pretty chill.
The second press conference, however, is really weird. The crowd at the second conference was wildly anti-Jake and extremely pro-Mike. They booed Jake constantly.
Hey, Dallas, shut the f*** up. Y'all keep booing. I'm going to keep doing. Bunch of bitches. That's how y'all want to do it? Let's f***ing do it. Keep booing. I keep doing.
And by the way, guys, things got really sexual out of nowhere. Incredibly sexual and weird and pedophilic as well. It's bizarre. They tell each other that they love each other. It's so sweet and it's so sentimental.
You started me off. I appreciate that, Mike. I love you. I love you. Like a father loves his son, but I must discipline you. You're going down, old man.
Okay, I love you too.
Jake said he wanted to kiss Mike on his big, juicy Mike Tyson lips.
I want to kiss Mike's big, juicy lips.
You want to kiss me?
Indeed.
Huh?
He said he wanted to kiss you.
To which Mike Tyson responded by saying he got boners while watching videos of Jake dancing at 16 years old. Wow, that's a weird thing to say.
That's so ironic that he said that, because I saw a picture of him dancing at 16 doing a little dance on YouTube, and for some reason I had an erection.
I think that guy might have brain damage. Although I'm not sure. I can't prove it. Yes, I'm not sure if I would have said that, or really many that other people would have said that. It's a very Mike Tyson thing to say, like prime Mike Tyson thing to say. It's kind of weird. It's kind of coming back a little bit. It's kind of getting young. It's just de-aged about 30 years. With how sexual things are when Mike says that he started Jake off and will finish him.
Listen, I started Jake off and I'm gonna finish him.
I don't know if that means he'll finish him off to completion in the ring live on Netflix in November or whatever day it is. I forget. I'm not sure. It seems like these guys have a budding bromance, though. I'm going to be honest. And then we got Jake leading himself a Jake Paul chant.
Come on, Jake Paul. Jake Paul. Jake Paul. Jake Paul.
And now they're talking about kissing and getting boners. I have no idea what's going on. This has devolved into something that I'm not sure it was at the very beginning of this. There is a bit of actual trash talk that took place at these pressers, but they kind of feel like playground insults. It's just cringe. Most of them are cringe anyways. Now, it is brought up to Mike that he is going up against a man that is much younger than him and a man that is in his prime. Mike then responds to that by calling Jake fat.
Mike Tyson is risking serious injury against a powerful 27-year-old who is in his prime. What do you say to that?
I don't know if he's in his prime. He's fat. He should be lean and mean. He's fat and funky.
He then specifically describes him as fat and funky. That's awesome. Holy shit. It's also funny as fuck when they open up the QA and someone asks Mike what Jake's abs feel like, and he says they were hard. What?
What did his ribs feel like when he touched them on Monday during the face-off?
They felt pretty hard.
But luckily, Jake calls him out, though, and says, make up your mind. Are they fat or hard?
Make up your mind. Were they hard or am I fat?
Well, you're fat, but you had hard muscles, okay?
One question asker in a paperboy hat somehow manages to piss off both Mike and Jake by asking when Jake is going to fight someone in his own weight class and not do a gimmick fight. Paperboy then calls particular attention to the dramatic age difference between Mike and Jake.
My question's for Jake. Jake, you say you want to be a serious boxer and you want to be a contender and be a title holder. So then when in your career are you going to actually fight a contender in your weight class and not do gimmick fights?
Jake gets mad and says that he just called Mike a gimmick.
I think he just called Mike Tyson a gimmick.
Mike Tyson's 58 years old, or will be at the time of the fight, yes.
So
as much as I respect
him?
Mike Tyson and his...
What did you just call me again?
I didn't call you anything.
What did you call me?
I didn't call you anything.
Mike gets mad and says, what the guy call me? And that in due time, he'll be fighting for the world championship, making this guy eat all of his paperboy words.
It's been 4 years in this sport, and I've done more to it than any boxer in the history of the sport. So in due time, sir, I will be fighting for a world championship, and I will be shutting you the f up and making you eat your own words, just like the rest of these punks.
AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. It will be the massive.
But if anyone would be eating their words, it would be Mike and Jake. Because Jake would vow to put Mike to sleep on July 20th.
But what I promise to the people is on July 20th, Mike will be put to sleep and he will feel my power. And I will go down as the man who put Tyson to sleep for the last time.
But alas, it didn't work. Mike Tyson, the old man, experienced a medical emergency that resulted in the match getting delayed. People saw him walking with a cane. There was all sorts of tweets that came out. People, it's not good, it's bad, it's sad. He's an old guy. Old guys get hurt a lot. Seems like life just hurts him. Reportedly, Mike had an ulcer flare-up, which led to him needing to reduce his training so that he can recover and effectively heal. Because ulcers can be incredibly serious. They can rupture and you can die from them, which is pretty wild, I think. I don't know. I made that up. Around the same time that all this came out, though, pictures began recirculating of Mike Tyson using a wheelchair and a walking stick from back in September 2022, which was a result of him suffering from sciatica. I had severe sciatica in 2021, 1 year before Mike. I think maybe when I got rid of mine, it went on to him. It's like that movie, It Follows, but instead of it being a sex demon, it was sciatica. And instead of having to have sex, it just left me. So I don't know. I didn't have sex with Mike Tyson. Yeah, this guy Kira, absolute legend on Twitter, got 250,000 likes and 21 million impressions of old man Mike Tyson. Pretty crazy stuff. Wow. Jake posted to Twitter expressing his heartbreak and a lack of words for the circumstances that surrounded the postponing of the biggest event of his entire life. He wished Mike well, and he wants him to be a healthy baby boy.
Heartbroken, speechless, gutted. We've been working so hard over here, everyone in this camp. And I just feel bad for everyone involved in this event, the whole undercard. Opportunity has been ripped from all of us, but I do value Mike's health first and foremost. Love that guy, I have so much respect for him, and I want Mike to be healthy.
The comments on this post, not supportive of Jake, saying that he should just kill himself and saying that it should be called off entirely, not just postponed because he's an old man. Essentially echoing the same sentiment we heard from Chael Sonnen earlier, because it was a young man fighting an old man, and now it's a young man fighting an old sick man. But during all this, Mike tweeted some shit talk saying that even when he was feeling 100%, he wouldn't need to beat Jake. He wouldn't need to feel 100%. In the wake of the delay, Logan Paul offered to step in and decisively determine which Paul brother was superior once and for all. I would love to see that. The Paul brothers beat each other up. That'd be awesome. Be so fun. Just kidding. I would never want to see that because they'd both make copious amounts of money. A lot of people never think that fight will ever happen. I think it will eventually have to happen when they need money. But Jake agreed to it, but said the loser has to change their last name, which is so fun. It's actually comedic. That's genuinely humorous. I love that. Kind of feel bad for Jake. Just kidding. But there is a video of him devastated, crying in the rain after all this news broke. It's got to be staged, but it's still pretty funny. But luckily, we don't need to mourn. The fight has been rescheduled, and we don't need to cry for too long. As of today, the video posting, the fight has been rescheduled for November. Okay, guys? We have to wait 5 months. Oh, well. Comment down below who you think's gonna win. Be honest. Is it old man Mike, or is it young man Jake? I think it's old man Mike all day long. All day long. And if not, I'm gonna be upset.